my first varsity game. And I'm like, dude, this is it. Like, this is what I've dreamed about, playing varsity football. You know, like I was a ball boy at a young age. Like I saw it coming up. I always went to Central games. I loved Central from a young age. Yep. My mom worked there since she was, forever. She worked at like Madison Elementary School, which is the elementary school there, and like worked her way up, was at the high school. Like I loved Central. So like putting on the orange and black, I was like, dude, this is awesome. Like awesome, I'm going, we're playing Bullard first game, a rivalry. The stadium's packed. We're playing at McLean. And I'm like, all right, like this is football. I run out on the field, man. The student section's like, Trent. I'm like, dude, this is sick. Like it's out of a movie.
Yeah, and it's kind of cheap. It's not like
cheap, man. Yeah. I go and get the Flying Dutchmans.
That's what my mom gets.
Yeah, dude. I'll get about 2 or 3 of those, man, and then like a lettuce wrap or something if I'm feeling frisky. And but if we're going big, man, I'm getting 2 double doubles with the animal style fries on a Saturday night, and we're housing it.
It's Saturday.
Hold on, educate me. What's a Flying Dutchman?
Oh, dude,
it's no bun.
It's no bun, nothing. 2 patties with cheese. You get some spread on the side. They're about $2. And you get like 2 of them, 4 patties, just some pro, dude.
I see. Personally, it sounds.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, you get the pro, and you go home, get a little rice on the side, and you have yourself a time.
Yeah, wow.
There you go.
And I'll do that after a workout sometimes because our In-N-Out is like Davis is a small town, so like weight room right here, In-N-Out right here. Hey, look, I'll take a little detour and come back to the crib and. I got 4 patties. I didn't have to cook. I got 4 patties for $4, and I'm indulging.
Yeah,
you
know?
know,
that's clutch.
I mean, a Flying Dutchman's kind of just like a lettuce wrap, like a lettuce.
Yeah, it's a lettuce wrap
style.
without the like it's just straight meat.
Yeah,
and it's like meat and cheese. Yeah,
it's delicious.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Because the cheese is what makes the burger great. Because like the cheese is so good, gooey and it's like all over the patty. Like it's great.
See, but some people don't fuck with the cheese though.
Yeah, because they want that.
There's some people that don't like honestly though, like if you see a nice like burger with it's like that cheese where it's almost fully melted, like some people like that, where it's almost kind of melted, but it's not still like.
I need it to be melted.
That's good too. But I mean, In-N-Out, like think if In-N-Out had that kind of cheese, it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, right. Yeah, dude. I mean, as soon as I take that burger out of the wrapper, a double with 3x3 animal style, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is the best burger, man.
Yeah,
this burger looks delicious.
And you know what's great about In-N-Out is that it never misses. It's the exact same every single time. The consistency, they have it down.
Yeah, it's curry from 3 every time, man. It's not missing.
It's not missing, especially if you go to the same one over and over and over. I mean, it's literally the exact same meal.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a few though going like south, like SoCal and all that stuff.
Really?
They just try to do it too quick.
Really?
They don't put
I haven't had a bad experience, man.
No, I've never had a bad experience, but
not
there's
great.
little hints.
Okay, really.
Like the salt might be different in the patty, the seasonings.
I like to taste. So when, for instance, they have In-N-Out in Texas,
they do. Yeah, those are questionable.
That's to say the least, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. Like In-N-Out in Arizona, not as good. It's good, not as good. Okay. Yeah, but like California.
Best out the park.
Out the park. But let's start the podcast.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Guys Being Dudes. This is episode 41 for you guys. Could not be more happy to be here. Thank you guys for tuning in every single week. You guys can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and of course, if you're a visual learner like myself, then YouTube. But Luke, how's this Tuesday going for you, my man?
No, man. Can't really complain. Fired up. We're both wearing black.
Yeah.
Twinning, unexpected.
Yeah.
So I'm fired up, really, like I said, I can't complain. It's 41 episodes, right? Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to get right into this. Guys, if you haven't seen some more clips, posts from earlier in the week, we got, I would say, probably hands down, best athlete, probably the best quarterback to come out of Fresno. Mr. Trent Tompkins out of Central High School. How you doing, man?
Man, that was a great compliment. Wow, thank you. That was out of nowhere.
Hey,
I really appreciate it. I don't know, but
it needs to be. The only reason why it needs to be said.
Wow, hey,
it needs to be said.
Thank you. That's
wow.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna say for the ones that were around big time football, around the time when Trent, we were in high school and all that time. Not even just Trent, but just the football around the valley, around the California, and around everywhere. I think was pretty fucking legit. It
Hey,
was.
thank you, man. That's
So,
thank
I mean,
you.
that's what I'm
God,
saying.
you
Like,
make
bro,
me blush, man. Jeez, golly.
hey, I'm just saying, bro. I'm a little
No,
fired
thank
up,
you,
bro.
dude. I'm
Like,
fired up
you're
to be here,
bro.
man.
You're
Yeah, it's a
legit.
great morning. Thank
So
you.
yeah, I'm blessed to have you on, bro.
Wow,
So,
thank you.
how are you,
I
man?
remember playing you guys because I was Buchanan.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, it was our worst nightmare. I was like, fuck, we
Dude.
gotta play Central. It's gonna be a game,
Yeah,
but
man.
like,
the Central
damn.
Buchanan games were fun, man. Those
Yeah.
were good times, especially that my junior year. I think it was your guys' senior. That the last second one, that one was wild. That one was wild, man.
We'll get into that, man.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
hey,
for
how
sure,
are you
for
doing
sure.
today?
I'm doing great, man.
That's
Doing
good.
great.
There you
Had a
go.
cup of Joe back in Fresno for a little bit. Doing good, man. Chilling out. Got to sleep in a little bit. First
Yeah.
time in a while, and feels good waking up in the old bed.
Mhm.
And,
That's always the best.
Always the best, man. I mean,
Oh,
my
yeah.
bed here is so much better than my bed in
Yeah.
Davis, and I always forget that.
Do
'cause
they
I never
give
come
you
back.
a bed to use, or you can bring your own?
I paid so in the dorms they only give you a bed, and it's horrible.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
let's be
yeah.
honest. I'm
No,
sleeping
yeah.
on plywood, but
Yeah.
the bed I got also not great. Too soft. My back hurts all the time. Got to put a pillow under the stomach. I mean, I'm doing the whole thing, and
wow.
yeah, dude, it's horrible, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're
I'm
doing the
used
whole
to-
9 yards just to
Yeah.
get some quality sleep.
Yeah, because like I'll wake up, my back is in knots, dude. I'm like, dude, I gotta go hang clean. What? Like,
Yeah.
there's no shot.
yeah.
Have
So,
you guys woken up and just I don't know if I'm getting old or what the case is, bro. Like just straight up woken up and like woke up to get out of bed and just pulled your back, like just straight tweaked it, like a tweak. And you know that one tweak where it's like a nerve, like you could just feel like, fuck,
Yeah.
man, I just need something. Bro, that's happened to me a few times
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
Oh man,
You
that's
just
the
moved
worst.
too
And I
quick.
think
Yeah.
that's why I started
I mean,
stretching
yeah.
recently a
Yeah,
little more. 'Cause I'm
dude.
like, bro,
Yeah.
I can't deal with this.
I mean, I've
anymore.
done that in a sneeze before
Oh,
for sure,
yeah.
dude. Sneezes will get me sometimes, man. I'll be like, "Oh, what?" And I mean, I'll get back, but
Yeah.
no, I feel
You
you.
recover.
He's like,
Yeah, I'll
get back.
recover. I'll recover, but
That's
funny.
awesome, man.
No, dude, fuck. I know. I'm having a good day.
Yeah.
I'm having
Yeah.
a great day.
We're off to a good start
We
right
were,
now.
we were talking about food, so I think I'm just gonna bring this right off the
Yeah.
bat. You know, I know that you're a big food guy. RJ's
Oh,
a
yeah.
big food guy,
Uh-huh.
right? So we got to give the people Trent's top 5 places, whether it be in Fresno or Davis.
Top
Give 'em
five.
the top
Okay,
5.
top 5, man. I'll go Davis and Fresno because that's where I'm at.
There
So,
we go.
Okay, number 1 on the list. Easily, every time I come back to Fresno, I get it every time, and it's Weekend Dreams. Weekend Dreams Burger and
Whoa.
Wings. I get it every time. And well, I'm sorry. Number 1 is Doghouse. What do we say?
Okay.
Number
Okay.
1's Doghouse. Number 2 is Weekend Dreams. I love a Weekend Dreams burger. If you go down to Central, if you're on that northwest side, and you find yourself by Weekend Dreams, go ahead and get yourself a double cheeseburger because it's delicious.
Okay.
Weekend Dreams.
Yeah,
I've
man.
never even heard of
Oh
that.
yeah, hey, Central's familiar. I love Weekend Dreams burger, man. I go every time. Every time I come back, I get a good burger. It's one of my favorite burgers ever, and it's delicious. But 1's Doghouse. I go to Doghouse every time
Okay.
because there's not much tri-tip in Davis, so I go to Doghouse 1. Weekend Dreams 2. Number 3.
What's the Addy on Weekend Dreams? Where's this located at?
That's a good question. It's on Ashland,
Okay.
right next. So Central High is like right here. It's like
Right.
right on that Ashland because
Yeah.
Central's on like Dakota or something like that. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm throwing out streets like I know them, but I don't. And
I know where Central is. I know where that
it's
is.
right next to Central. All my
So, okay.
a lot of
This
all
makes
my
sense.
Central
Probably down the
guys
street.
know where Weekend Dreams is at, and it's delicious.
Gotcha, I guess.
It's delicious.
What's number 3?
Number 3, Alibaba Davis.
Okay, yeah.
Breakfast burritos. Oh my God!
Really?
If you find yourself in Davis, man, Alibaba, dude, you will go and it's a breakfast burrito. It's crazy. It's out of left field. They have it's bacon, it's eggs, French fries, Euro meat, honey, and tapatio. Hands down, it's you go to Davis,
Sweet and
there'll be a
spicy.
line, but I kid you not, you go up there, you go, hey, can I get one regular breakfast? And they're grabbing it. And they're here.
So they're quicker than Jimmy John's.
They're quicker than Jimmy
Freaky
John's. The only
fast.
problem is Saturday mornings they have the farmers market.
Mhm.
It gets a little busy. I mean,
Yeah.
who can blame them? But
You got to time it out.
You got to time it out
Yeah.
perfectly, but it's there every
Mhm.
time,
Every
and
time.
it's delicious.
The consistency is huge when
Oh, it's
deciding
huge. Yeah,
whether
and
a place
you have
is good
to
or
get
not.
and you have to get jalapeno ranch.
Mhm.
Oh, you
Some
have
people
to?
might question. Yeah, some people might question
Breakfast
jalapeno
burrito
ranch.
and ranch.
Exactly, jalapeno ranch, and people might say, "Yo, Trent, that's a little
Sounds like a
little
tough
crazy."
afternoon. Yeah.
Exactly. But it gets you right.
It works.
It gets you
right.
right, man. And if you're in Davis, go ahead and get
Alibaba.
you an Alibaba burrito. 4. This is a tough one. I love Castillo's.
Okay.
Mexican restaurant here in Fresno.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah, delicious.
That place is
Castillo's
real
restaurant.
good.
We talked about Bobby Sal's.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And
We talked about how we need to get
we
you.
get the favorite salsa of all time.
Yeah.
And
We're gonna get him
It's the best salsa of all
a
time.
salsa deal.
Is it on my top 5? Unfortunately, it's not. The salsa is number 1 for everything.
Okay.
It might hurt the deal, I will say, but I'm a truth teller. I'm gonna be honest. And number 5, dude, I go and I get me a Me and Ed's pizza here, man.
Dude.
I get me a Me and Ed's pizza.
Hell yes.
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
love some Me and Ed's, man.
Yes, I'm so happy that you put that
Hey.
on at least at 5
Hey.
right now because that
Yeah,
shit is
man, like,
fire.
It's good, man.
It's so
stuff.
good.
That
Like I
ranch,
said, consistency is there every
it's there,
time.
man. I mean,
Every
I
time.
grew up on it.
Right.
Well, what do you?
Yeah, dude,
I
Man,
grew
that's
up on it, man.
Fire.
Damn near.
So,
Is
yeah.
it better than pizza over in Davis?
So okay, they had this place in Davis called Uncle Vito's, and
Okay.
it was my favorite pizza in California. Before I went to San Diego, they have this place called like the Bronx or something.
Uh-huh.
Best in California, in my opinion. So
Really?
good. But they had this place called Uncle Vito's, man, and they haven't opened up since COVID, so like 2
Oh.
years. But freshman year, man. Hey, Saturday night, I'm going there. I'm getting me a large pizza,
Oh, yeah,
large
handling
pepperoni, and I'm handling it. You know what I'm saying?
Good word.
Yeah,
I
great
can
word.
imagine you're handling that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that sounds
That's
so
easy.
amazing.
That's light
yeah,
work, huh?
but now, I come back and I get me and Ed's pizza with the ranch because the ranch, hands down, some of the
Mhm.
best ranch I've ever had. So,
Oh yeah, no.
yeah. So
100%.
Yeah, it's
The
all,
only thing about me and Ed's is if you're not eating it within 15 minutes out of the oven,
oh yeah,
then it could get a little.
it's a little tough, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up right on off Spruce over there by Rio Vista middle school. Where I went to middle school. I don't know if anyone knows that. No,
Yeah, yeah,
where that's at.
Of course.
But I grew up right next to my boy Noah, and there was a Me and Ed's right there, and me and Noah would ride our bikes to this CrossFit gym right there. Shout out Max, and we'd work out, and then we'd ride our bikes to Me and Ed's. It's in the same thing. Yeah, just kind of deplete what we just did.
Uh-huh.
It was like
Yeah, no,
6th
seriously.
grade. Yeah, so we'd go
You
and
work
like.
out so you can.
Yeah,
eat the
exactly.
pizza,
Yeah. We're in like 6th grade, man. You know, we have fast metabolism. We're over there. We hit some ladder, some hang cleans or whatever's going on, and then ride our bikes to Me and Ed's and get ourselves a large pie. And then on weekends, hey, back to Me and Ed's. You know what I mean? It
a
is what it is.
large pie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's funny, man. Nah. So I mean, you haven't been on a podcast, an actual
yeah.
podcast. So I feel like there's a lot of untapped land
Definitely.
that people might have heard about you. So
Yeah.
I guess take us back a little bit. Tell us a little bit about the background, growing
Yeah.
up, and kind of
Yeah, dude. So let's see. Let's start. I first started out in Easton. So I lived in Easton in the country.
Easton
lived in
Crothers?
a little
Okay.
little farmhouse out there. That's where my dad's from. He went to Washington Colony and Union, and then transferred over to Clovis High like junior year after a while. And so we moved back. That's where my dad's from, and I lived in Easton for about, I'd say, good 5 to 6 years. I think 7 years. It was a good time. I was like probably like from like 3 to 10 or 11, probably, whatever that math works out.
right.
And it was a good time, man. I grew up. I went to the the preschool in Easton, right next to Union at that church, man. It was a good time. Dad would play ball in the gym, and I'd go out there. And then I eventually moved on. I went to Carruthers Elementary School for kindergarten. And then, because my parents are both in education, so my mom's a teacher, my dad was a teacher, and then kind of moved to like being like a vice principal.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, we're out. I'm from the country. Like I'm in the country. So I'm following where Pops is going. And he eventually moved to Carruthers. So I went to Carruthers Elementary. I raced motorcycles and rode BMX. Because fun fact, my dad actually was a world champion BMX racer.
No
I
way.
heard about that.
So he
competed at like the highest levels.
Yeah.
Like X Games type.
Like not X Games. X Games wasn't like really like, I feel like it wasn't really like when he was young when he did it, and he went to he was on ESPN, like he was
shit.
racing in the world class tournaments in like Tennessee, like he was with it. Like my grandpa, Randy Tompkins, my grandpa, he passed away before I got to meet him, but he raced flat track at the Carruthers Fair, man. He was pro and he used to race motorcycles, so it was extreme sports. It's kind of been in my family for forever. So my dad was like, "Hey, man, get on the bike. Here we go."
Good try to.
Yeah, so it was cool, man. I spent a lot of time racing, dude. Me and my cousins, one of my cousins went to Buchanan, my other cousin went to Kingsburg, and then shortly transferred to Central, and we all raced with each other. It was a good time, and we all raced at the Carruthers Fair, man.
That's fun,
That's
dude.
where it started. I went to kindergarten in Carruthers. I was the only kid speaking English in the class. Kindergarten. It was pretty cool, man. I loved it. And
How did that work? Did you
they
were the
spoke.
teachers speaking English?
Yeah.
or-
I mean,
It was
like
Yeah.
My best friend was spoke Spanish.
Okay.
My best friend. And
so were you dabbling a little bit with Spanish?
Oh, I was horrible. I was
Okay.
horrible. Yeah, like not everyone, we all speak, English, but like my best friend was speaking Spanish. It was awesome.
Yep.
And like I played soccer there, man. I love Crothers. I went there last night. I got a lift in. I love going back to Crothers because like I love working out in the weight room, man. It's so sweet. I call it the dungeon, man, to go back in there, get a pump. I love going back to Crothers.
A little small town, hometown.
Yeah,
feel,
exactly.
Kind of, huh?
So I go back. Yeah, I grew up kind of in the country my younger years and raced at the Crothers Fair, man, did all that good stuff. And then I shortly transferred to Fowler, 1st through 3rd grade. Because my dad went over to Sutter Middle School out there, and 1st through 3rd, I ended up in Fowler. I still raced, and I had a horrible crash, man, at the Crothers Fair, and ended the racing career shortly. I was like, yeah, you know what, Dad, I'm gonna go ahead and hang it up. I'm gonna go ahead and hang it up.
Get off the bike.
Yeah, you know what, Dad? Like, sorry, man, I'm kind of done with this. But
is this a broken bone or
no, not even
worse?
close, dude. You know me, just like being
just
7 years old, just like, oh, my knee's busted. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what, Dad, this isn't for me. So kind of got off the bike, and I transferred to Fowler. That's where I started. That's where I kind of started playing all sports. Like that's
you started getting your feet wet with everything.
Yeah,
See what you
exactly.
like.
So so 7 years old, I played flag football in Fowler, and I played baseball. Growing up, I played baseball in Fowler through I was like 12. Like I always played. My best friend was JT Hammer at the time. Oh yeah, and his dad, Brian Hammer, was my coach throughout all my younger years.
Okay,
I loved him, and basically, yeah, man, I grew up. I played baseball down there and played flag football. It's funny, dude. Because growing up, like Central was always really good at All Stars. Like Central, like I always remember, like, dude, Central's really good. And for some reason, like we go to high school and it's like doesn't translate. I don't know what's up, but
everyone transfers out.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
That's what used to happen before you came along.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
dude. It's funny because like we played them in the state. And I remember that year, Fowler, we're hosting, I'm like 10. Fowler's hosting the regionals. And we lose every game in the state tournament. We're like, God, man, that was tough.
Yeah.
And Central's there, and they lose to like Northwest Bakersfield in the championship and state. And we're like, we didn't even get out the pool play, man. I mean, we're 0-4, man. And we're hosting the regional. So we get to go to the regional, man. We're juiced. And we go there, and we play Northwest Bakersfield first game, get throttled. We're like, oh, God, what are we doing? End up winning 6 in a row or something. Go to the semifinals in the regionals. Yeah, dude. We're beating every single team, dude. I'm pitching in the newspaper, the Fowler newspaper, man. Yeah, I'm like, this is sweet, man. Love this. And then we play Laguna, and we get throttled 24-1 in the semis. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, we're running out of arms.
That definitely hurts you because you definitely remember the score now.
Yeah. But Fowler has a bunch of roots in baseball, man. I love it. They love baseball down there.
Yeah, I remember the Hammers because I grew up in Dinuba, and so Cal Ripken baseball and all that.
Yeah,
we played Dinuba.
Hammers are big. I love all the Hammers.
We played them.
JT is my best friend, dude. I still talk to him all the time. I'll probably see him today. And Coach Hammer was like my guy. Like, every time I had a hitting problem, I'd be like, hey, Coach Hammer, what am I doing wrong? Get me right. And then so I transferred over to Liddell Elementary. About 10. I still lived in Easton, but my mom was like, hey, my dad was moving to another school, and he's like, hey, my mom was like, hey, it's getting too hard. Like, I don't know, like, what we're going to do. I wanted to play tackle football really bad. I'm like 8 now, and I played 2 years of flag, and I was like, Mom, Dad, I really want to play tackle football. They're like, okay, well, like, you're not, like, I was like, I want to play for Fowler. Like, I want to play for Fowler really bad. Like, all my friends are playing at elementary school, and they're like, like, let's my dad's like, I got a couple friends, over at Memorial, like let's go take you over there. Like, let's see how you do. So I go play tackle football at Memorial. And I still live in Easton, which was actually a problem my first year. It sucked, dude. It was
before they made all those rules.
Yeah, so I was 8 and I'm playing at Memorial, and Memorial Pop Warner's Memorial and Edison were like the two best Pop Warner growing up. Like Edison and Memorial were always like the best. And so like we go to the championship, obviously, and we play Washington Union, and we beat them. And then Union's like, hey, you got a kid who's from Easton, and it's like me, and I'm like, no, what? I obviously I didn't play, man. It's my first year of tackle football. I'm getting throttled in, just practice, man. It's horrible. I'm not enjoying it at all, and I'm like, tackle football sucks, dude. I'm getting hit every single play, and they're like, that kid's from Easton, man. You guys can't. So we didn't go to the championship because I'm from Easton, and it sucked, man. I didn't play, and team was legit though. We had like Jalen Johnson on the team, dude. Like I played with Jalen since I was young, and he was like the best player of all time, and always. And so I ended up playing, football over there. I transferred to Liddell, Central Unified in like third grade. I got third grade around there. I'm like 9 or 10 or something like that, whatever the age is for third grade. I'm still living in Easton, so I make the commute. And that's when I started doing like all the sports, man. That's why, because in Central they have all the sports. I'm sure Clovis Unified does too, right? Like cross country, track. Yeah. So when you start doing all those, and you play every sport, and I ended up. It was fun, man. I don't like talking about like
just kind of took off from there.
Yeah, I don't like talking like it took off from there. But I don't like talking achievements. Like, I feel bad. I feel. I want to keep it humble.
I understand that.
Yeah,
sometimes there's a point though. You just
I got you.
You just got to talk about some things.
Yeah,
but sounds like you were surrounded though around a lot of athletes and
since a young age,
wide range of things.
Yeah, man, a lot of dudes that were like, okay, this is what athletes are. Like this is
something
what.
To always
exactly.
Look
like
up to.
I mean, I remember at Memorial like playing Pop Warner. Jalen was on my team. We had like Andre Sachre was on the seniors at that time. I played with Dante Sachre. Okay. Me and Dante were boys. Andre's in the league. Like I had Jalen. We had Corey Day, who was really good. He ended up at Redlands, I think now. He was really good. Ricky Correa was on the squad. Like
Big Rick.
Me, we had a bunch of guys, man. It was
that's crazy.
Yeah, Zach Angelillo was on the squad. Zach at Northern Colorado now. He was at Cal. Like he was my boy. But we were good, man. It was like a crazy team. Like we grew. So I played there for a good 5 years, 6 years. And then when I went to Central, and I was an okay Pop Warner player. Like I was like, okay, like I love football. But at the time, like I was like more into like basketball and baseball, like and soccer. Like I love soccer, and because I actually like kicking and screaming, man. Like I was like, I'm Italian. Like this is sweet.
Yeah, outside.
Give the ball to the Italians, man. Like
makes sense.
And I played at Crothers, dude, and we were so good. Like we would go to tournaments with like real clubs, and like it's like Crothers. Like we're packing into vans. And we're staying at like some hotels and like sleeping on the ground and stuff. Yep. And we're going to like UC Irvine, playing against these clubs and just whipping them, bro. It's insane. Like they're coming in with their like sweatsuits. I remember I'm like 8 years old. I'm like, these guys are good. Like we ended up going to like the state cup tournament they have or whatever. And like I'm super young. Like I don't really know what's going on. And we're playing in like the high division. We go to like the semifinals or whatever. And I'm like, dude, this is like, we're really good.
Yeah.
And so it was sweet, dude. I like that. But I was into that stuff like at that time. Cause like at football, dude, I was playing Memorial and everyone was really good. Like everyone. Like I was okay. But like, dude, we had like guys that were potentially going to go to the NFL. Like,
100%.
So like, it's kind of hard, like especially in Pop Warner, man. You're going to give the ball to the guy who's going to score every play. Obviously, like
no, for real.
Like if I'm the coach, I'm giving it to Jalen Johnson every play.
Time,
no shot. Yeah. So I barely start. I played running back and wide receiver, kind of growing up my whole life until like I played like the last year Pee-wees. Me and like Dante actually took over, and like I played wide receiver and running back. And then the 2 years in juniors, like I was okay. Like I played quarterback a little bit here and there. And then like that last year of juniors, I played quarterback the whole time. And it was learning like, okay, this is what quarterbacks. And actually what started like me playing quarterback, kind of like how I played in high school and middle school and everything, was at Memorial, I just handed the ball off. Like, hey, I get the snap. I hand it. We had Tajon Harrington. I don't know if you guys know. He was at Edison. He went to Nevada.
Sounds really familiar.
Yeah, super athletic, man. Fastest kid in the world when we were younger, and he still is. But he was our running back. So I'm like, I'm taking the snap. I'm giving it to him, man. And he's taking it to the house. Yeah, right, exactly. There. And so like I didn't do anything until like the championship game, first play. It's crazy. We're playing my cousin from Kingsburg, and I take the snap, and I drop back, and I like dudes are in my face, and I run like an 80-yard touchdown run, like crazy run, like I spin out, and I'm like running, and like I'm like slow at that time. I'm like here, like the running back is like right next to me, like pushing me along, you know. But I score 80-yard touchdown. I'm like, dude, I could do that. Like that's crazy. I didn't know I could do that. Like I was always like, hey, give the ball to Jalen, give the ball to Tajon, and all those guys, and I'm like, I could hit an 80-yard. Like that's pretty cool. I want to do that, more. So then I like I end up not playing the seniors for Memorial. I go to Rio Vista. Mm-hmm. So I spend time at Liddell. I do all the sports. We win, all the championships there. It's really fun playing sports for the school, man. It's super cool. And I transferred to River Bluff about 5th, 6th grade. That's where I kind of like got my roots, man. I met all my best friends. Like River Bluff was an awesome change for me. Like going from Liddell, then I went to River Bluff. It was like a big step for me. Playing all those other sports again, like wrestling and cross country, track, like winning district championships for all of them was really cool for me. Cause I was like, dude, I love sports. Like it kind of got me to love, like I love all sports. Like I'll watch, dude, March, the Mats, wrestling tournament, man. I'll watch March Madness. I'll watch the wrestling tournament, man. I'll watch girls. Like all of it's just like, I just love all competition, all sports. So like
high caliber competition.
Exactly. Yeah. So like that's where it kind of started my love for it. And I eventually went to Rio and I played football for the school. And 7th grade was like okay, I could play quarterback. Like I could play football good. Like, okay, maybe I can get a scholarship. Maybe I can play at the next level, and that's like, it was like 7th grade. And my dad was like, hey man, I had a really, like, we won the championship, like good year. And like, obviously like we're still playing basketball and baseball at that time. It's middle school and stuff. But my dad was like, hey man, like you should, do you want to go to some camps? I'm like, my dad, he played D2 basketball. He played at FPU, and he's a point guard. So he didn't know much about football. Like he didn't really know much. He wasn't like that, like involved in the coaching. Like he coached like when I was younger, just because they needed bodies out there, but he didn't know much about football. He didn't know much about the recruiting process or anything. So he's like, hey man, you want to do some camps or something? Like I was like, yeah. So like, you go to like FBU, which is like a big camp for like younger kids, and like you kind of go to that. And so I start doing those, and like we're just driving around, dude. We're just driving, getting the Denny's. At the time, Denny's had like the all you can eat pancakes.
Yeah. I remember those days.
Yeah, my dad's like, hey, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, man. Denny's pancakes. That's all we're affording, man. And that's what we're gonna get. So we're driving around Cali, man, and it was fun, dude. Just going to all these camps, and like that helped me. Like, not the camps didn't help me like quarterback wise. Like it was cool like doing that, but what really helped me is just seeing the other talent, like seeing like, oh, this is what's out there. This is what I should be at this level. This is what I should be at this. So that was the coolest part, man. And like,
you were realizing that at that young age? Yeah.
So 7th grade, like that was like when I kind of started gaining perspective at that point. Like I was like, okay, like this is what I should be in 7th grade. Like I want to be at this point. Like at that point, Tate Martell was like taking off. Like everyone knew Tate Martell, like freshman year, he committed to Washington very young. Like everyone knew of like, that's when like, that was like the high age of 7-on-7. Like 7-on-7 was picking up at that time. So like everyone was like looking at people on social media, like all quarterbacks, all these teams. And I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to be the best, and that's when it kind of started in 7th grade and started picking up. And at the time, man, I was full grown. So I was like 5'10", 180 in like 8th grade.
No way.
Yeah. So like everyone was like, dude, this guy's gonna be the next K. Like it's gonna be the next KD, man. Yeah. Like I was like a hooper at the time, dude. Like I was like I was really tall, man. I was going to the rack, and
I heard you dunked in 8th grade.
Yeah, dude. It was. I mean, now like it's dude, like it's the same. I have the same. I don't know what's going on. It's more. I'm a big adrenaline guy.
Okay.
So it's 8th grade championship, man. Basketball championship, and honestly, like I remember the game, dude. I had like 4 fouls in like the first quarter, dude. I had to sit like half the game, man. We're playing Glacier Point. And our team, dude, my middle school basketball team was like one of the best teams. Like we were really good. Like we had a dude, Lucky, who was like 6'2". Milton Burnett, who went to Clovis West and Memorial. He was like the best player growing up. Like he was so good. Shauno, he played at Clovis East. Like Milton Clements, he came to Central. He went to Arizona for a little bit and came back. And like, dude, we were good, man. We had a lot of good players. And I remember we're warming up for 8th grade, and there's like it's getting packed. And I'm like, dude, this is pretty sweet. We're in the Rio gym, the rubbery floor kind of gives you a little give. And I remember like in warm-ups, man, we're always trying to touch the rim. And I'm like, I'm touching the rim and I'm grabbing it like after the finger roll, and I'm grabbing it. And I'm like, I think I could get up on this, man. I think I could get up. The refs haven't gone in yet. So like, I remember the rule was like, you can't dunk. Like,
yeah, you can't dunk before the game, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm not going to say like, I was slamming it. Okay. Like, I'm not going to say here, like, there's probably some basketball players. Yeah. Like, it's not a dunk. And I'm like, hey, that's cool. Okay. But it's 8th grade and I'm dribbling. I dribble down and I have the juices going. And right before I hit that finger roll and I pull the rim down, and I'm like, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm like right there. And so I kind of go and I take the dribbles and like I go and I jump and I like get it the finger roll and I realize I'm pretty high. So I kind of just turn the hand over and I like jump the rim down. I throw it down. I'm like, did I just do that? Looking around, the guy like gets the ball and he's like, and like tosses it back. Yeah, but like super funny, man. And like I was like, dude, I got back in the line. I dunked, man. I dunked. And like everyone's like, oh yeah, okay, man. Yeah, like no one even like, yeah, okay, man. I'm like, dude, I swear, like it's like, is it a dunk? Up for debate, probably. But in my head, I dunked it. Yeah. Yeah. And like now, like it's a good 2 out of 10 where I'll get a rim grazer. You know, like like it's gonna be the second one. The first one, questionable. Second one, I'll get up and like get it in there a little bit.
You need that balance still, at that court.
Yeah,
maybe,
exactly.
huh?
The rubber court, man. It's still like a finger roll pool, which is like, is it a dunk? Probably not. I'm 5'10". I am 5'10". All right, so get off me, okay? That's like the best you're gonna get. But yeah, dude, 8th grade, man, was the first time I was like, I could jump pretty high, and then yeah, man. Then from there, dude, then I go to high school. Yeah, and then freshman year, dude, played JV. Coach Garza was the coach. Rest in peace. I love Coach Garza, man. That was like one of my heroes, dude. I loved him. And he passed away. Yeah.
High school, right?
Yeah. He passed away. I love Garza, man. He's such a good dude. And then Coach Hetherington, my guy, he coached me since I was a youngin', man. Him and Coach Januso. Coach Januso actually followed me from 7th grade all the way to varsity football. He was the head coach from middle school, and then was a coach for JV when I was on JV that freshman year, and then varsity. Like he followed me the whole time. So like him and Coach Hetherington was like my quarterback coach. He coached he was the OC at City for a while, and then he took the head coaching job for that 1 year. And it was a rough year. We didn't have guys. Well, we had guys, like we had dudes, but it was just like it was a crazy year. You know, Coach Garza was like having health problems, and Hetherington kind of got thrown into that head coaching role. So it was really tough to like kind of get that going. Yeah. So our JV coaches were that JV year, man. That freshman year, that was a tough one. Mm-hmm. That was a tough year, man. I was like, okay, this is high school football, but it's like, man, like. I was switching off quarterbacks sometimes. Like I was playing safety. I was getting blindside blocked, just getting depleted sometimes because I'm like, dude, I haven't played safety in years. I was boom, getting head on a swivel. And so it was a learning year. It took a lot out of me, man. That freshman year, it took me a while. And but then we played good. Like we had a good year still.
I want to go back a little bit because it sounds like early, right? It sounds like you were moving a lot, moving around a lot. Was that ever hard to adjust at times?
Yeah.
Or
so
looking back now,
I went to 5 different elementary schools. So I went to a lot of different elementary schools because in Fowler there's 2. So Marshall, you're first through or K through 2nd, and then you go to a 3rd through 6th, and then 7th through 8th. So it's like a weird kind of school thing. So I went to 5 different elementary schools, and honestly, like I feel like it helped me. I feel like I could talk to a lot of people. I've been in a lot of different situations. Mm-hmm. I've been in a lot of different dynamics and groups of people, which like very diverse situations. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like it helps me talk to a lot of different people, man. I feel like it helps me make friends, helps me, conversate. And, that's what I'm very blessed to be able to have that and like kind of go through and work through different schools. And
I feel like kind of that pressure too, because now thinking, I feel like that's kind of why now I've seen the success of you being able to handle the pressure so well. It's like over time, growing up, not meant on saying like it was bad growing up, but there is a little, as a kid, pressure of like, okay, then now I'm going to a new school, and
for
like,
sure. Yeah.
Going to 5 elementaries, I could imagine there's always a little bit of pressure, what I mean? Especially you wanted to play sports. But now that obviously you grew up and learned that, which obviously, like you said,
which is
helps.
huge.
Yeah.
And you're obviously a smart dude because you graduated with what? 3.8, 3.4, 4.0,
yeah,
right?
Or 3.9 technically, but
3.9, yeah. Parents as educators, they're probably on your Were your parents like hard on your your shit?
Dude, mom's was on me
because they're both educators, so I can imagine, and it makes sense, man. Like. Your journey. Everyone has their own journey. And everyone's story is just uniquely different. It's amazing, bro. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's like it's not even like we moved a lot. I like wasn't for like sports or anything. Wasn't for like me. It was just like the easiest. Like, hey, where can my parents take me to school the best? Like, what's the fastest route? What's the easiest route?
And you see a lot of kids today just moving just for the sole reason of sports.
It's crazy, dude. I remember I at a young age, dude, I was going to go to Clovis North because I was young and I played basketball with Clovis North, or I played with Central, but Clovis North was like, hey, we're starting this AAU team. Like, you want to play? Like, I mean, I was like 5'8", like sixth grade. So they're like, dude, you're going to be good. Like, you're going to be 6'6", man. This is going to be awesome. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I am. Yeah, let's play. So I went to Clovis North and I don't know, Trace Matthias, like he was like my close friends growing up, man. Like we were really close, and his dad was the coach. And so I would like, my parents couldn't go to a lot of the games, so I'd travel with them, and we went to like Reno, then all under one roof tournament, like the big national thing where all the AAU teams go, and we won it. We beat the Orange Men, who like turned into a big team like once you grow up, and we won. And they're like, hey man, you need to come to North and play basketball. And I was like, okay, like we'll think about it. And my parents like not really knowing like what's the area like, what's going on. So we go there and we'd kind of look around, and my parents were like, yeah, we'll stay at Central. Like it's pretty pricey and everything. It's different. My dad's like growing up in Easton. He's like, you know, we like it, but you know, we'll probably head back to Central. And I was just like,
yeah, that's fine with me, huh?
Yeah. I was like, hey, I mean, I'm young. I don't know, man.
Nor do we even have a say, you know? Really,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, do you like it? I'm like, yeah, Drace is here. Drace is my good friend. It's pretty sweet. And I liked all the guys. And like, but yeah, so I went back to, I never transferred over, but we did go and like look over there. And, you know, I went to a camp with Coach Hall at the time. I wore a Central shirt because I was a Central ball boy growing up. I was a Central ball boy with Quick. Oh, I love Quick, man. Quick. And Michael Baker was out there, BJ Kelly, all those guys. And like, so I grew up in that Central program.
Yeah, roots.
Sounds like you've grown up around a lot of, I mean, like we've said it before, iron sharpens iron. Sounds like you've surrounded yourself. Yeah, I mean, like with a ton of guys just growing up from you being young, like you said, you know what I mean? All the dudes and all your friends, everything, bro. Hence,
sorry to interrupt. That's completely true, because like I have this soul like belief, if you're growing up and you're just a winner and you just win championships, you win games, you have a team that's good. Yeah. That just builds that mentality for the rest of your life. I agree. Dude, you're that player for the rest of your entire life. Yeah. So like he just said, all those players and those names that you've grown up with, bro, the iron sharpens iron, bro. Yeah. Like there's a reason why you're doing what you did in high school and what you're doing now. Like it all makes sense. Like hearing your story from the beginning to where you are now, it's like I could put the puzzle pieces together, and I'm like, yep, that makes so much sense.
It's funny you say that, because so that 7th grade, 8th grade year, like I think it's 7th grade, that summer, they're like, hey, do you my best friend, one of my best friends, Noah Gonzalez, he plays at Dixie State now. He was like, hey, like my mom said DB Guru is having a all-star game. Do you want to play for middle school? I'm like, yeah. That sounds sweet. Yeah. He's like, okay, yeah, for sure. So we go out there, and at this time, dude, DB Guru was like, it was like a mythical creature. Like if you're young and you play football and you heard DB Guru, you're like, I don't know if I want to go out there. Like it's like those are where the guys are at. And like it was so funny because I was hearing stories of like guys going out there and like crying because like they weren't good enough. Like guys like getting like, hey, you aren't good enough, get out of here. I was like, dude, this is where it's at. Like if you want to play college football, you go to DB Guru and you play for Tony Perry. And like I remember hearing that and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll go. And I was like so scared, man. I'm like, dude, these guys are legit, man. So we go out there, dude. 7th grade, we go out to Edison on a Saturday, and we started doing like 7-on-7 stuff. And I'm like, I thought it was an all-star team, like all-star game. And we do it for like 3 weeks. Classic, Guru fashion. Game gets canceled. No game. I'm like, okay, whatever. And they're like, hey, do you guys just want to do a middle school team? I'm like, yeah, sure. And at this point, we haven't seen the high school team. Like it's just middle schoolers, like 7th and 8th grade. And we're sitting there, and he's like, you guys just want to do a middle school team? And I'm like, he's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So he's like, okay, cool. Practice next Saturday at Jensen Park. And everyone's like, okay, like the Jensen Sports Park with all the fields over there.
No one's gonna say no, or no one's.
Yeah, everyone's like, okay, yeah, for sure, yeah. So we go, dude, and practice starts at 3:30. And so me being me, I wanted to make a good first impression, I'm like, it's my first time going out, and like he's like, hey,
2:00.
Yeah, he's like, hey, this is high school, and middle school practice. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, like this is the high school team. This is I'm like, this is it. This is the big time. And so, and I'm in middle school, like I didn't know. And so it's 3:30 practice. I show up at 3, and I sit there, and me and my dad are the only ones. No one's there. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I'm like, okay, we'll just wait. Wait 15 minutes. 3:15. No one's there. I'm like, Dad, let's just leave. I'm getting nervous. I'm like, dude, let's just leave. I'm not meant to be here, man. Let's go. Yeah. It's like 3:30 comes. No one's there. I'm like, Dad, let's go. Like this, I'm not meant to be here, man. Like I'm not good enough. Like I don't know. Like he's like, no, let's wait. My dad, he's from Easton. He's from, he's like, he understands like what's going on, and this is guru stuff. And I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, I don't like. I want to like. I'm not ready. Like I'm not ready, man. I don't know if I'm ready for this. Yeah, and I'm a second guess, and I'm getting psyched out, and I'm like, dude, I don't know. About 3:45, no one's there. I'm like, dude, we're waiting for like 45 minutes. I'm like, this is ridiculous. It hits 4:00, like 4:10, and we're still there. My dad's like, no, you're going to this practice. Like you're going. It's like an hour, and we're there for like a good hour, and all of a sudden, about 50 cars pull up, and there's just dudes hopping out the back of cars, man. I see Caleb Kelly come out, open up the door with no shirt on. And I'm in 7th grade summer going to 8th grade. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy is the biggest man I've ever seen in my life. He comes out, he doesn't even have a shirt on. I don't know if he came with one. I don't know if he took it off in the car. He just didn't have one. And he comes out and he's like, all right, guys, let's go. And I'm like, looking around, and like I get out of the car too. Like there's like the middle school team walking up, and I'm like, we with these guys? And like the coach is like, Coach Ware, he does the high school now. He's like, hey, you're with them. And I'm like, oh my God.
Here we go.
15 ladders, just toss them out in the yard. And we do ladder drill. There's about 200 guys out there. We do ladder for about an hour. And I'm like, dude, I haven't done ladder in a minute. Like, oh my God, I gotta get my feet right. I'm like hitting the icky shuffle, man. I'm getting it right. And I'm like, dude, what is going on? And then they're like, all right, let's go. Caleb's like, hey, one-on-ones. And I see Tony. First time I ever see Tony. Tony walks up. He's like, get him, Caleb. Get him. And I'm like, dude, what is happening? I see Ware come out. I'm like, Ware, hey, take us to the middle school side, man. Please take us to the middle school side. I mean, I'm throwing this little middle school football. I'm not even to the high school ball yet. And they're like, all right, let's go one-on-ones. Middle schoolers, you're with the high schoolers. I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, no. Like, hey, let me go over here, man. Dad, I'm like, what's happening? And my dad's like, not even there. Like he left. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, all right, this is sweet. So, Caleb obviously is looking just jacked. And I mean, there's Steve Stevens out there, young Steve Stevens, dude. He's still unreal. He's at Oregon now. Mackenzie Barnes is out there. We got Jalen I don't think Jalen was out there yet, but like we got all like the dudes in Fresno were there. And like Caleb's just leading this practice. And like Caleb, Caleb has no idea who I am, obviously. Right. And and he does like about 3 one-on-ones, and he just locks this person up, and it's unreal. Like everyone's like, hey. Everyone knows, like, hey, Caleb's going to, delete you. And so, I get up there, dude, first pass, high school ball in the dirt. They're like, all right, middle schoolers, other side. I'm like, thank God. And it's funny, dude. Like, I just, like, being around those guys were like, damn, like, this is what you want to be at. Yeah. And that one practice was like, it wasn't even like I was scared or I was just, like, nervous or nothing. It was just like, I was for sure, because I'm seeing this 5-star dude. I'm seeing these 4-star guys going to college. I'm just getting introduced, and I'm like, man, this is where I want to be. Like, this is what I want to do. So then we kind of like do that 7-on-7 middle school. Then we do good. And we work out with the high schoolers the whole time. Like we work every practice. We go out. We do high school. Like we play 7-on-7 against the high schoolers. Like we do the 7-on-7 with them. It's like an integrated practice. And honestly, that's what helped me get ready for the next level, high school. And then like 8th grade, I'm going into 8th grade, that middle school team. I'm going into 8th grade, so I'm still a 7th grader. And from that first practice, we go to Vegas, the national championship. And Tony has no idea what my name is. And I'm a young kid. Tony's like, hey boy, come here. And like I'm sitting, because like we just got done with our tournament in Vegas. And so I'm sitting on the sideline watching like the high schoolers. I'm like, this is cool. Like we lost in like the semis or something. And I'm like, wow, this is awesome. I'm seeing Caleb like go, and I'm seeing like all these big time players like Darian Owens, who was supposed to go to, I think he went to UCLA for a little bit, or maybe Marshall. He's at Clovis West too. And I'm like watching all these big name players in Fresno. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like Caleb's like throwing people out of the bounds and stuff. And I'm like, dude, what? Like this is crazy.
You wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah, I wanted to be a part of that. And he's like, I'm sitting there, and he's like, hey boy. And Tony like that. I was like, me? He's like, you got your cleats? And I was like, I'm like, yeah, I got my cleats. He's like, put them on. And I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, what? me? He's like, yeah, put them on. I'm like,
Got the
all
call.
right, strap up the cleats, man. He's like, hey, you're in.
What are you
Throws
thinking right
me
now?
in-
What do you
Oh,
think?
okay,
I want to
so
know
I'm-
what you're thinking
Yeah,
right now.
so
before we
right
jump
now,
right
dude, he's like,
You're putting
so
your
this,
cleats
so
on.
yeah, so this is a make it take it game. Like
Yeah.
this is playoffs. We lose, we're out. He throws me in. He's like, hey, listen, strap up the cleats. I'm like, dude, I haven't done high school ball. Like I'm going against with high school kids. This team is like, I think it's like a team from Texas, and I'm like, dude, these guys are good. These guys are legit. And all I have, like, I had no idea what's going on. And he's like, boy, you're in. I was like, okay. I mean, my dad's like, hey, you ready? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I have to be, man. Yeah. So I strap on the cleats, man, throw them on. And at this point, dude, it's tie game. And we need to score on this drive to win. So he puts me in, dude. You get 3 downs and 7-on-7. So I get the snap. I throw it to Caleb Kelly on a hitch, catches it, puts it down. Next 2 plays, I throw a good ball, streak right here, gets dropped, and then like another one gets tipped. He's like, hey, good job, good drive. And I was like, Tony was like, hey, that's how we do it, man. And I'm like, there's nothing happened. Like, he's like, hey,
But the sole fact that you
He threw you into
exactly,
sharks
yeah.
and you
Well,
were able to rise.
you know, we go to overtime. There's an overtime. So I just went 3 and out on 7-on-7. He's like, hey, boy, you're in. I'm like, oh my God. Overtime. I haven't played with the high schoolers ever.
Yeah.
And he throws me in the national tournament for 7-on-7, which is 7-on-7, which is different. But he's like, hey, you're in overtime to lose. And he throws me in. And all we need to do is get a yard. All we need to do is get a yard. Because the other team went out. And I get the snap. Caleb Kelly runs a hitch. I go to throw it to Caleb Kelly. Long back. Like in a movie. I'm like, throw it right at the dirt. Oh, yeah, and we lose. Yeah, I built it up, right? Yeah, we lost. Yeah, we lost. And I'm like sitting there. I'm like, dude, I just lost a game to these high schoolers, man. This is tough. I'm in 8th grade. Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, man. And yeah, we lost, man. It sucked. And then, but that's what kind of, I was like, dude, I could do this.
For sure.
That 8th grade season that next year, dude, it was like the easiest season ever.
I mean, no doubt. You literally got thrown into the sharks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, bro, like that's just crazy.
That shit's awesome. Let's talk about dude, your central career, bro.
Yeah.
Unfucking believable, bro.
Thank
You're
you,
an
yeah.
absolute legend. I remember, like I said in the very, very beginning of the podcast, when I was at Buchanan, we would go to the games, obviously
Yeah.
the student section. The student sections would be going at
Yeah,
it, bro.
dude, it's crazy.
Like during those times, bro, like,
Good student section.
bro, it was
Good
fun.
student section. I
bro.
remember seeing you. You're at every game.
I was at
you're
every
You're at
fucking game.
volleyball. You're at you played
Bro,
baseball, but you're at
every
football. You're
fucking game, bro. I was so just fully immersed
That's
into
sick.
being
Yeah.
like part of the fucking Red Riot, or that's what it's called. Yeah, but dude, every time we fucking played you.
Centrals, they were crazy, though.
Bro, you guys
You
were
guys-
doing
Yeah,
no,
we
you
did
guys
have a
were
good.
sick.
We had some
They
good
were
students,
bought in,
man.
dude.
Yeah,
You
we were
guys-
bought in, especially because like Central, we were always so good, just couldn't finish. So then like kind of like that team, dude. Like students were like, all right, this is
Mhm.
we got a team.
This
you
is
know?
fun,
So it was
man.
cool, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was super cool.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but before the 2017 season, Central hadn't won a championship.
yeah.
correct?
So my junior year was the first one in 80 years.
Wow,
First one, yeah.
dude, congrats
Some
to you,
years,
man.
that's
Thank
crazy.
you. Yeah.
That's big
Shout
time
out
right
Biggs
there.
too. Yeah, Biggs was a great head coach too.
Yeah,
So yeah.
That's
Collectively,
awesome. Thank you,
as a whole, I mean, that team had to have been working at every cylinder, right?
Oh, dude, it was
Those
so,
practices?
that was so fun, man. Those years were so fun. I did a lot of. It's funny. I was just talking to Biggs about it yesterday, and I talk to Biggs a lot still, all the time, and it was so fun, man. It was just like we're just name dropping guys. Like, dude, there's so many guys out there that were just. You're like, dude, these guys are so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like like you knew like, all right, this is a great team. And it's funny because my sophomore year, we played Bullard first game and my first varsity game. And I'm like, dude, this is it. This is what I've dreamed about, playing varsity football. You know, like I was a ball boy at a young age. Like I saw it coming up. I always went to Central games. I loved Central from a young age.
Yep.
My mom worked there since she was, forever. She worked at like Madison Elementary School, which is the elementary school there, and like worked her way up, was at the high school. Like I loved Central. So like putting on the orange and black, I was like, dude, this is awesome. Like I'm going, we're playing Bullard first game, a rivalry. The stadium's packed. We're playing at McLean. And I'm like, all right, like this is football. I run out on the field, man. The student section's like, Trent. I'm like, dude, this is sick. Like, it's out of a movie. Yeah. And then we get just stumped 24-3. And I play a horrible game. I throw 2 picks. I mean, I'm like, dude. And like Coach Big tells me now, he's like, dude, yeah.
This the first game of the season?
Yeah, first game.
Varsity game.
First varsity game, dude. I go out there 24-3. I throw 2 picks. I play horrible. And it was like, oh my God. Like Coach Biggs tells me now, he's like, dude, I'll be honest, like I thought like we were done. He's like, it was pretty questionable after that. He's like, I didn't know if you're gonna be good or not. Like I got pulled like at the end. Yeah, dude, it was so funny. And but then we rattled off, whatever.
You didn't want to feel that again.
11 games. Yeah, dude, it was funny. We played Sunnyside the next week and we put up 56 and we're like,
where was this last week?
We could do this? Like, yeah, exactly. Like, this is awesome. And then we played Ridgeview, who was really good at the time. And the big test was we played Liberty like week 4. And they're number 1 team in the Valley. And we go to Liberty and we beat them like 30-3. And we're like, dude,
nice
like
we
can play. Yeah. It was like we go out there and we played a great game. Like my first game where I was like, okay, like I could do something a little bit. And then we come out, dude, we just start rolling like from there. And then kind of just like, I was a young quarterback though. I was young. Like I was playing backyard football, man. Like there was a play coming in. I was running around. I was going to toss it to whoever was open. Didn't matter what play it was. I was just going to get the snap. I was going to fake it. And I was just going to, do some stuff and toss it. And it worked until Bakersfield, because Bakersfield's, super fast. And threw 2 picks in the Valley Championship, man. I'm getting death threats and stuff. I'm like, geez, dude.
Relax.
Yeah. I'm a sophomore, man. Jeez, but it comes with the game.
Right.
So I don't know about death threats. That's terrible. I mean, if you're actually getting that shit,
but guys get fans get bought in. People get bought in
people
that
get
much. Where it's like,
and it's the first.
People get too bought in to where like they forget that you're human too.
Oh yeah, you see it all the time.
Yeah,
bro. I mean, just this last week, and this is kind of off topic, but like just talking about how bought in parents get, bro. I mean, Dinuba baseball, bro. I'm talking Dinuba baseball high school. There was just a fight. They played Hanford West, I believe, and this is varsity baseball. And there was a play at home. The Hanford guy slid into the Dinuba guy, and it was like he slid straight into him. Like the catcher was like there, but he like straight head on, like he wasn't trying to avoid him. Caused a little ruckus. Parents got pissed. Started throwing blows, bro. This is the high school, and
it's crazy, man.
Blows in the stadium,
That's crazy.
bro. Just like I mean, Pag Meter posted and everything. And I was just like, parents, like, yo, like you guys gotta control yourselves, man. Like this, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, parents get bought in, so
it's crazy. And it's supposed to be the first Valley Championship for Central. Like everyone's like 80 years, man. Like we've been in this championship so long. Like let's do it, and we lost again, and. It comes with the territory, and we all learned.
Oh, you definitely learned, bro. Like, come on now.
Yeah, it's just a chip on your shoulder more.
Yeah, huge, for sure. Huge.
I mean, your senior season, when you have over 5,000 yards passing and then over 1,000 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous. How many touchdowns? I know you don't like to talk about
Yeah, it's like 60 something.
Yeah, okay, let's just say it was a really high number.
Yeah, it was dude. I mean, we had a great team,
athlete, superhuman shit that year. Like,
thank you, dude. Yeah.
It just seemed more like, honestly, like legit, like you had the team, right? And so it made your job easy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. But it seemed like the one thing, because like going back too, because at my time too, I was at Buchanan, and I remember talking to like a lot of like linemen, linebackers, whatever. Whenever it was Central, they're like, I'm gonna get Trent. I swear to God, I'm gonna get Trent this week. I swear to God. Nope, never would get Trent.
Yeah.
So like my point being was like, bro, I swear, like every time that like if there wasn't a guy open, you were either gonna rush it, hence 1,000 yards for a good amount of yards, and you were just gonna go. Or you were going to do some little crazy Patty Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, little toss over and just somehow like, because bro, sometimes you wouldn't even have your feet set and like you can just be throwing boom. And I was just like, dude, this is a high school quarterback doing this shit.
This is like, you have unbelievable balance, bro. Your balance is fucking crazy. Like you can be pulled in a direction. You're still able to balance your weight and then pick it back up.
That's a big, it's actually a big, no one really talks like about that. It's a big, like balance is a huge thing. Like if you can balance your body a certain way, man, you can do a lot. Bro. Exactly. Counterbalancing, like when he throws off, off platform, it's huge.
It's funny, I remember watching you. Sorry. I remember watching you. And he'd just be fucking scrambling. And I'm like, get his ass. I'm like, get him. And then all of a sudden you just see him take off for 80 yards. And I'm like, how? How does that happen?
It's I
It's
tough to say, man. Yeah, it's tough to say.
Sometimes you don't even know.
I don't. Yeah.
So
just
is
kinda,
the game slow for you in the moment? Like, are you able? Like, it's super fun. Like,
like it's like playing Guru actually really helped. DB Guru, like at that young age, getting thrown at that varsity, like slowed down immensely. Like going to camps, throwing to wide receivers who were blazing fast, dudes who were like high recruits, like helped a lot. Like I going against what really helped me do is going against Jalen Johnson every day sophomore year against, and we had Malik White who's really good. He's at Western Colorado right now. He's because of just some injuries and stuff. He should be at a big school because he's unreal.
Yeah,
I love Malik, man. But going Malik and Jalen, and then we had Kev too. Rest in peace, Kev. I love Kev, dude. He was a great dude, man. Such a good dude. But him too, like he was so good. Like they were really good, man. Just going against Jalen, dude. Jalen operates at such a different level. Like you knew he was going to the league since we were at Memorial. Like I knew
those guys.
Yeah, and like it's like okay, like he's operated at such a different level, and it was so good just like go against guys like that because the game was very slow. Like it was slow, and especially that senior year, like the game was way different. And just like if you play at a young age, like at a high level, like the game will slow down. I mean, don't force a kid in there if he's not ready, like. But man, if he's ready, and he has that moment and. It's gonna help. It's gonna help a lot just from personal experience, kind of like being there.
So talk mindset now that you're established. Since game's a little slower now, senior year. What's your mindset going into? What was your mindset going into each game?
Dude, that's funny. I was a chiller in high school before games. I was a big chiller. I listened to Bob Marley before every game and just kind of just sit back and just be like, hey, I love football. And then I get to college, and in college, I'm amped up. I'm listening. I have like a style how I listen to my music. I wake up in the morning with my roommate Miles, one of my best friends at Davis, dude. I'm waking up and I'm punching him and I'm like, dude's game day, so it's hella funny. Yeah, in high school it was super different, but my mindset, dude, every game was just like, we're gonna win. I was kind of like, no thought in my head, like, okay, we could lose this game. It's kind of not like on a cocky sense. It was just like, I was just very confident in our team and our play and like how we could win. So that's kind of how I thought.
That's awesome.
It makes winning easier when you have that confidence.
For sure,
no doubt. You just got one goal in mind. Just go fucking stomp.
Yeah, it was cool, dude, because that team my senior year was super young.
Yeah.
So, and you saw it when they won state, the year I left, and like, dude, they were so talented.
Yeah,
like that team. I was so proud. Give them another year. Dude, I was so proud. There was just such a good team, dude. Like, I've known those kids, like those guys since I was in 8th grade. They're in like 6th and 7th.
Yeah.
Like, so cool just it's so cool just to watch them, dude, and go win state and like good for Biggs, dude, because like I love Biggs, like I love Coach Russ, like I love all those guys, and like it's just so cool to see Central and like a Fresno team win state. It's such a high level too, like right below open division. Like it's really unheard of for like especially a Fresno team.
Yeah,
it's super cool though,
no doubt,
for real.
The Valley definitely seems like, obviously it's a place where quarterbacks get bred. It seems like there's a ton of them, and there's a handful of them for sure that are out there, including yourself. I feel like Central now is kind of turning into that quarterback place. We've seen a couple of quarterbacks transfer over there, and dude, just to go establish with the offense and the coaches. And I'm sure
Biggs runs such a good program. Like he helped a lot. Like you get a total control of the offense when you're there, so it's a great spot for a quarterback. Great spot because you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn defenses. You're going to learn plays and like concepts that you don't really learn in high school. And it's really helpful. You get to learn fronts and cover, like all that stuff. And you have guys that are going to get open. Like we have a lot of athletes. Right. We have a lot of guys that are just really good at football. And it's like for a quarterback, it's a dream. It's a dream spot, to be honest. So like,
for real.
It seemed like it. It seemed like they made your job real easy.
Oh, for sure, dude. The teams like
no doubt.
Not my teams, but like the teams I was on were so good, dude. I was so blessed to be on such good teams, man. We had such good players that didn't really get to like a chance to go anywhere either. Like players that just like kind of like you just like didn't really get a chance to go to the next level, and they were just unreal, man. Unreal.
What you played with Xavier Worthy?
Yep.
What years did you guys play together?
My senior year.
Senior year. Okay. Man. So he graduated with you.
No, he was a sophomore.
Yeah, he was a sophomore.
Yeah, he was a youngin.
No shit.
He's my class. I think he's my class. Way. He's 2020, I believe.
He was 21.
Oh, really?
He was a freshman last year.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Texas,
Yeah, that's
bro.
right. Yeah, he was only a freshman.
Oh
last year.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Dude, he's unreal.
I thought he was
man.
COVID freshman.
He's
That's how
unreal. Yeah.
Teared it up
Yeah,
this
dude.
last season, bro.
Yeah, it was funny, dude, because so my senior year, he came up from JV because it was JV freshman year, and he, torched it. Had like 20-something touchdowns as a wide receiver, which is like not supposed to happen. But on JV, like he just like was throwing bubbles and he just took it to the house.
Just
Like it was
taking
so
them,
cool to like we, before varsity, you watch JV and you're like, who is? I didn't even know who he was. Like who is this guy? And he's like, oh, X. Like he's gonna be good. Like trust me. And it's so cool, dude, because you get to watch him like grow. Like sophomore year, he played a little bit like on and off. Like like my best play senior year was to him. Like I got smacked by Buchanan. Like I threw it like that. Like he caught it over the shoulder. Like it was sweet. And like you could tell like he didn't like he switched on and off just because we had some older senior guys that weren't necessarily like better, but like knew the offense, like we knew the game like at that time a little more, and he just needed a little time to grow. And dude, but you could tell like he was gonna be good. Like he was so fast, dude. He had that body, those legs that are just like really skinny, just like like don't know what he's gonna do. And I threw him a couple, dude. I threw him a couple 9 streaks, man. A couple streaks that were just like kid was like 30 yards behind.
Yeah,
him.
and you just
like, not even close. And like you knew he was gonna be really good. Mm-hmm. And that next year he just tore it up. That year that went to state, like him and Jeremiah, unreal. Like Xavier's unreal. He goes to Texas and just goes off.
Goes so fast.
Bro. Oh man, it's
the separation he gets is crazy.
Yeah, so fast, dude. He's so good, man. Him and dude, Jeremiah Hunter, dude. That was my favorite guy to ever throw to. He's unreal.
That dude could get up, bro.
Oh, Jeremiah
caught everything too, huh?
Unreal, dude. He's the nicest guy in the world. He's super sweet. He is a dog on the field, and you're gonna get it done, man. When you line up against Jeremiah, and especially Xavier, like Xavier too, you line up against those guys, you're toast, like you're out.
Yeah,
which is super funny, but
that's funny.
You signed up for it, man.
Yeah, no, dead ass.
Before we end the Central talk, move on to a little bit the UC Davis and stuff.
I want to hear a little bit about that recruiting talk, but
for sure, we got to get into that. But there's got to be one game that stood out. I know there's probably got to be a handful of games, but what would you say the one game at Central highlight game?
Yeah, there's so many, dude. There's that one sophomore year, that Buchanan one for sure, dude. Man. That one's number one. That junior year, dude. That was like the craziest game of my life because we were up a good amount. Not good amount, but we were up by like a touchdown and like a field goal or something. Like
we came back
something close. Yeah,
I think it was like. And at halftime, I think it was like 17. It might have been 14, 17 points. No, it wasn't. It
was like it might have been 2, it might have been like 10. But I remember we like going into the half. It was like 10, we're good. Like we're solid. Right, and Buchanan had a good team that year. You had Kendall, Brock, and like a lot of good guys. I think I forgot who the quarterback was.
Ty Hall.
They were switching between Ty
and Carson Bailey, right? Yeah. And so like I going into half, we're like like we're good. Mm-hmm. Junior year, we had a lot of good guys. We had Bigelow at running back, and like we had Jeremiah, so a young Jeremiah who was raw but like insane. Mm-hmm. And we had Jacob Torres, who was like arguably one of the best receivers ever to come out of Central. Mm-hmm. Him and Jeremiah and Quick and BJ Kelly and all those guys. So a lot of big names. So so
what's Bigelow doing now?
He's at Fresno State still playing running back.
Okay,
he's really good, dude.
Yeah,
really solid. He's a great guy too.
Yeah.
But like I remember going to half, like we're like, okay, like we're good. Like, hey, stick to what we're doing, And we go out for the second half. We have a decent third quarter, I think. And I remember fourth quarter, I throw 3 picks in a row. I mean, I throw them. One was a tip. 2 were egregious, man. One of them was in the red zone slant right to I think it was Keenan Wolf. I think I throw it right to his chest. Is it Keenan Wolf or my boy Scheidt, dude? I love Steven Scheidt. It's one of them, dude.
Yeah, I think it's one of them.
Yeah, I think it's Keenan Wolf though. I remember I threw it right to his chest, and it was like on the goal line. And then Buchanan scored like 2 touchdowns or something, and missed the field. I remember they missed the field goal, man. I remember this so vividly. They missed the field goal, and I'm like, oh my god, 27. I think we're down. I think we're down by like a 6 now or something like that. Mm-hmm. And like at the time, like they missed the field goal, and everyone's like, okay, like I missed a field goal, like we're still down. Right? They didn't know to like come back to like be. The key to part. That's how football works, though. Yes. But so we get the ball again, man. I go and I drop back. I throw a pick right to Brock Jones, right to his face, like he's playing wide receiver. I mean, just right to him, and I'm like, There's a game, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm borderline on suicide watch. I'm like, this is horrible. I'm like, I just lost the game. Bunch of people in Central. Buchanan's like a rival. Like, it's kind of not like officially, but like a natural. Just like every time we played Buchanan, it was like it was it. And I was like sitting there. I was like, oh my god, like I was beside myself. And I'm very hard on myself, so like I was just like in the gutter, man. And which you can't do as a quarterback. And like I was learning still, but like no excuse. And Biggs comes to me and goes, hey, you're going to get the ball back. And I'm like, there's no shot. Like there's like 3 minutes left or something. He's like, you're going to get the ball back. And I'm like, all right. I threw 3 picks in 3 drives. And 2 of them are right to guys that might as well been playing for my team. You know what I mean? They're I'm playing catch with them. And dude, I don't know what was going. I don't know what the call was from the OC. I don't know what the perspectives, everything. You know, hindsight 2020. Yes. But they go with the sweep with like a minute left. And instead of giving it to Kendall, which, hey, again, perspectives, everything. Like hindsight 2020. I don't know what, maybe they thought they could get around the edge and get a first down because it was like 2nd down, 3rd down. And I think we had like 2 timeouts or 1 timeout maybe. Like I don't think we had any. I don't know what the situation was, but he ends up fumbling the ball. Yeah. Like they strip it on like the 40, and I'm like, oh god. Like,
you're like, no way.
Here we go. Like this is we're getting the ball back. You're right. And dude, like the first 3 plays, not very good. It's like 4th and 2. And I remember like before the snap, I'm like, I am going to run. Like I'm going to run around. It's 4th and 2. Will this play work? I have no clue. I'm going to get the snap and run away, which you should never do.
Yourself.
Yeah, you should never do as a quarterback. You know, like just, hey, make the easy read. But, you know, me being a junior and young, I'm like, I'm going to run around and we're going to see what happens. Like there's no way this play is going to end on an incompletion. Like no way. So I run about 40 yards back. I'm about 40 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and it's 4th and 2. I look like an idiot, and I find Jeremiah Hunter like this, like just like, hey, like
hello.
4th and like here's the 4th and 2. You know, it's 4th. Like here's the first down. He's sitting right behind the sticks, and I launch like a 45-yard throw, and we get the yard, and it's like it was like a 3-yard reception, dude. It's hilarious. Like if you watch it on film, you watch it on film. I'm like this. I'm like I spin back, and I'm like, throw it, and it's like 4th and 2, like first down. And it's like by 1 yard. It's hilarious.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then the next play I throw it to Jacob Torres on a little corner post, and we win it. And it was like
a history right there.
Yeah, sweet game though. I remember that one for sure though. Biggs just kind of like, you're gonna get the ball. And I was like,
yeah, that's
you're
crazy.
right. I'm gonna get the ball. Yeah.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking. Dude.
Yeah, that was a tough one, dude.
Yeah,
that was a tough one
for us. And then right after, bro, you guys were celebrating. I mean, like anyone would. Yeah. But you guys celebrated.
That's what.
Wow. Yeah, that did not just fucking happen.
Yeah, dude. That's a gut punch, and hey, that's just testament to everyone. You know, hey, never give up.
100%, dude. But what I find most interesting about your story after hearing everything, which I'm so glad that we got you in the barn today, and you know, like I've learned so much about you today.
I feel like I've been talking too much, man.
No, it's great, dude. It's a really great thing. I'm sure our listeners are loving it.
I hope, dude.
But the one thing we haven't mentioned is when you were getting recruited. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you were this superstar athlete.
Yeah.
You know, a guy that was making the plays, a gamer is what we like to say, you know, a straight up dude that can just show up to the field, you know, and get the job done. You know, I mean, there's much more that goes behind that, but to college coaches, they didn't see that for some reason. Is it correct? Like, right? They just, yeah. And I don't know your stance in it or how you view it or how you feel about it. I mean, now that you've moved on, you're at UC Davis now, you know, you're doing what you got to do over there. But talk to us. So was it the height? That was the issue I
think there's a lot of combination. I think it was how I threw the ball. I think I didn't have a cannon. I didn't have a good arm to be like, if I'm going to be 5'10", you know, you got to have a good arm. And like my arm talent, like it was good. It was good for high school. Like it was good. But it wasn't like necessarily there at what it should have been. And like I see that now. Like when I was younger, I was like, dude, why am I not getting these college offers? Like I can do this, I could do that. And like at the time I could tell like, okay, yeah, I'm probably more of an FCS level quarterback just because like was I athletic? Yeah. Like I could make people miss. And I think like if I got that shot at the next level, I think I could have excelled for sure. I think I would have honed in at like that FBS level. Would I? I mean, that's up in the air. Like obviously at Davis, I play all different types of positions. So like I do a lot of different stuff and I love it. Like I love, like, am I going to like, would I have gone to the NFL playing quarterback? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like that's how I see it. So it's a very interesting story, to be honest. It's very interesting. And the recruiting process was crazy, man. I always believed in myself. I could play anything. And if I got that shot, would I have like taken it and ran with it, yeah, like I feel like I would have, and but I didn't, and that's just how it goes. And the recruiting process was crazy. Actually, like my dream school was Penn State, and I get invited to the Penn State camp. Like I was getting invited to a lot of things, like a lot of handwritten letters from like big schools that were like on the verge. And I think like the height was one thing for sure. Like I'm 5'10", like yeah, like it's that's gonna be a factor. But like if I had the arm talent, I think that would have been the deciding factor. And I think that's where a lot of colleges were like missed on me, which was that. And like, hey, you can't blame them. Like everyone has a story. So like, am I mad about it? No, I mean, hey, it is what it is. I'm at a great school. I love Davis. I love Coach Hawk, dude. I'm in love with everything there. And like, but like Penn State, I go to Penn State, which is like, everyone has their crazy recruiting stories, but they kept sending me handwritten letters. Like, hey man, like we want you to come here. Like we want you, we love you. Like all this stuff. Like Biggs is like, hey, they pulled your transcripts, man. Like it's a good, like they want you. I'm like, sweet. Like this is awesome. It's like junior year. And so I go to Penn State. My dad saved up enough money to fly out there. He's like, hey, we're gonna go to Penn State, man. They really want you. They send your handwritten letters. Like the coach is texting you all the time. Like, hey, this is big. Yeah. And the coach was Coach Franklin, and the OC was texting and writing me a lot was Coach Moorhead, which I love. Coach Moorhead's a great dude. Who's he's at Akron now. He moved a lot, but he so basically told me to come out. So I fly to Penn State, man. I go and I'm like, this is awesome. Like I want to experience this. Like this is what I want to do.
It's your dream as a kid.
Yeah. So it's like my dream school. And I go there, dude. I have a good camp. And at the end of the camp, like they're like, hey, like if we call your number, like stay after. And they call my number. So like there's 5 quarterbacks. They're all 4 stars that are like 6'3", like all of them. And I'm like, okay. And I'm the only one. I'm like 5'11", man, 5'10". I'm reaching. And they're like, all right, you guys stay after and throw. So like we start throwing. And they go up to one kid like, hey, you can leave, man. It's like, thank you for coming out to the camp. Like, it was really nice seeing you. And like, I'm still there. So it's 4. And then they go up to another kid like, hey, man, it was really, thank you for coming. And, you can leave. And now it's 3. And like, and then they ask another kid like, hey, thank you for coming. And then it's me and this dude, Taquan Roberson or something. Like, he's like 4-star. He went to like Rutgers or something. And it's me and him. They're like, hey, like, we want you guys to stay. Like, would you like to come on? We're going to show you around the campus. I was like, okay, like we're going to show you around the campus and we're going to take you to Coach Franklin's office. And I'm like, Dad, I'm getting offered. Like, if they offer me, I'm committing on the spot. And take us around campus, dude, show us a good time. And dude, it was awesome. Like I was like, I love Penn State, and take us to Coach Franklin's office, show us around. They're like, hey, we want to offer you. And I was like, oh, this is it. And they're like, but we're not. And they're like, hey, it's like we already have 2 quarterback commits. Like we already have, this recruiting spiel. And I'm like in my head, I'm devastated. I'm like, oh my God. Like I thought it was so close. Moorhead was my guy. Like we were really close. And he was like, hey man, just wait. Like, the time will tell, like all this stuff. I'm like, okay. And like 2 weeks later, Moorhead goes head coach at Mississippi State. And like, he starts texting me again. Well, those 2 Penn State recruits that were committed flipped to Mississippi State. And Coach Franklin wasn't really sold on me to be like, and I don't blame him. Like, right. It was more Coach Moorhead's like, I think he liked me probably a little more. I don't know the process on it, but
everybody has their own.
Yeah. So they flipped to Mississippi State though. And that was history. I was like, I was so close though. And, and then that was like, big recruiting stories. Like there's a bunch of them, but that was like the one I was like, okay, like this could happen, and I ended up getting offered like sophomore year by Nevada and by Coach Viney, who's Fresno legend. Like he's a guy, love Viney. And, and that's how it kind of went down. I went back home Fresno and just grinded and then got Davis and I'm blessed to be at Davis, man. It's awesome. I love it.
One thing, it's tough. Cause I can't imagine the pressure that you were facing as an 18-year-old kid in your senior year, doing what you were doing and then not getting also the looks that obviously every 18-year-old, every senior, every person that wants to play at the next level wants the looks. Like that just comes with the nature. Exactly. Like when I played, like I wanted to get looked at by the highest of schools, so I couldn't imagine the pressure that was on your shoulders that senior year. And then your ability to kind of shut it out when it came time to game time was incredible. I kind of want to know how were you able to manage the pressure of kind of being perfect out there. Because people probably looked at you as like, damn, that's Trent Tompkins, right? He's the greatest of all time. Like your room for error was your margin for error was so slim to none. Like, so talk to us. How did you How did you shut out this negativity?
That's actually, it's funny you say that because I never thought of it like that. Like I was always told, like you define pressure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you putting it in your head, like, hey, this guy in the stands is like, hey, Trent needs to make this throw. That's you creating that pressure. Like, there's no pressure. Like, hey, you know, that's you playing ball. And I love football, man. I do. I love the sport. I'll play anything, anywhere. Like, I mean, like, or does it extend? Like, I don't know if I'll play in Germany or something like after college. Probably not. But like, I love ball. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes. And I never thought of it as it being like, oh, there's pressure to win the Valley Championship. Like, there's pressure to go back to back. There's pressure to go play and beat Folsom. Like, it was never, for me, it was just like, I loved playing football. I loved playing with my friends, and I was out there with my best friends and my coach I've known for 3 years at the time. And like, I was like, you define pressure. Like you think, and it was more like, honestly, senior year is more like, for me, I was like, we're going to win anyways.
Yeah.
Like, again, like I was like,
more than what?
Yeah. I was like, I know. Yeah. Yeah. And I knew, like, I worked my ass off for this. Like, I worked, I didn't drink. I didn't do anything. Like in high school, like I was like, hey, you know, like my goal is to get to college. Like my goal is to play college football. And like, that's what my goal was. And like, there wasn't anything like in my mind that was like, okay, you're not going to get a scholarship. Like, you're going to work your ass off no matter where it is. And like, I wanted to play college football. Like, that was my main goal. And like, I didn't want anything to like get behind that. And so like, I knew, like, hey, you know, believe in yourself, believe in what you do. And it's kind of how I took it.
I like that. I like that mentality of, you know, the pressure is only created by yourself, like in a sense, you know, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there, and especially with the way the world works with social media and stuff like that, like these superstar athletes, like there's a lot of pressure on them to be perfect. Oh yeah. You know, cause like, I mean, you walk out, I mean, you're still representing something at the end of the day.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly,
you're representing UC Davis. Yeah. So when you walk out of your room, you know, and you're in the eyes of the public, you can't go do something stupid. You know, just like a couple weeks back, like the bullpen catcher for Texas took a sip out of a flask, and, you know, he gets the boot, and then the team gets, you know, reprimanded. So it's like, you're always representing something that's going on your chest. And, you know, and I feel like everyone has their own journeys, like we talked about, and patience, I feel like is something that's really hard to like. Yeah, no, it's a huge thing, because if you rush things, like let's say you were to go to Penn State. Yeah. And I'm not saying that, you know, oh, you go to Penn State, blah, blah, blah. But let's say you go to Penn State and you still redshirt your freshman year, and your sophomore year comes up and you're still maybe not getting looks. Yeah. Right now, you're kind of in a hole. Exactly. Right? You could have just went to a school where you got the reps, you got the playing time, you got what you wanted, you're playing ball, doing your thing. You could have been more happy. So like, I think because like, you can't look at your journey and have any negativity upon it. You got to look at all the positive sides out of everything, and at least try to. Exactly. So like, I feel like, you know, UC Davis, that's just a part of your journey, man. Yeah, it is. Exactly. And like, that's funny you bring that up. Like, going to Penn State, like to that camp, like, and being like, oh, I was so close. I dwelled on that for like half the summer, dude. I was like, dude, I was so close, you know, so close, until it took me a while to be like, hey man, that's just part of the process. Like, yeah, it's like, hey, you experienced that. That's really cool. Like, you know, you got to that part. There's like, they're only like a 1%. Exactly. And like, population, dude, if I go to Penn State, like, do I play? I don't know. Do I get to do what I do now at Dave? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many guys that 4-star, 5-star guys. Like, there, exactly. So like, where could I express myself and like be who I am? Because like, am I a quarterback at college? Right now, no. Like, I play running back, I play wide receiver, I play quarterback, I play punt, like I return punts, like I do a lot of everything. And, and like, I love it, dude. And it's fun. And like, what's the best opportunity for me to get to the next level? And like, could I have done that at a different school? Probably not, you know? And I think Davis is the best fit. And I love Coach Hawk. I love Cody. Like, they do such a good job, man. I always tell everyone, like, if you get a chance to talk to Coach Hawk, you talk to him, because he's such a good dude, interesting dude, man. I love talking to him. But like, yeah, I agree, man. Yeah.
You got spring ball coming up.
Spring ball coming up, man. Tough on the lads. But
and this is out, you'll probably be back there.
I'll be back next.
What's that look like, man? Is that crazy?
Dude, it's crazy, man. It's great. So spring ball and fall camp, man. Those are the when you go to like college, like you get that, you know, summer workout from high school, but you always hear about in high school like fall camp and spring ball. Like when I was in high school, like college kids would come back. The college players that played at Central would be like, whew, got spring ball coming up. And I'm like, you know, what is that? Like, oh, okay. Like spring ball, like sounds okay. Practice like in the spring, like cool. Yeah. Like sounds good. No, you get the spring ball, man. And they always say like I always hear like, hey, it's a grind if you don't love it. You know, you call it a grind if you don't love it. So I love football. I love practice. I don't want to say it's a grind, but dude, it gets you. Like you gotta be mentally prepared. Like there's a lot going on. It's basically 3 to 4 weeks of practice and preparation for no games. Like there's no games. You got the spring game, which, you know, it's basically like my first year was hard because like we didn't really have a spring ball because of COVID, but we had a fall camp and it was really hard because it was like you're competing against your teammates for sure, but you're really competing against yourself. Like you got to understand like, okay, I'm trying to get better for fall camp. Like, okay, spring ball is like, hey, they're not making, you know, roster decisions. Oh, they could be, but like a lot of the time they're not making like huge roster decisions. Like, hey, this is our guy. Like this is like when they go, okay, this could be our guy. Like I like what this guy's doing, and then they kind of branch it off. They have spring ball, or summer ball, they have PRP. So spring ball, like. You got to work your ass off, man. It's like you got to, you know, you want to show the coaches a good like how you've been, you know, in the off season. You want to show them that you've been working, and so it's definitely it gets you, man. Like there's a lot of get up at 6, you know, work out. You got meetings, you got practice, you know, but you got to love football. You know, you got to love it, and like it's part of it, and you got to love it. You got to love it. Yeah, you gotta love whatever you do, man, and that's just how it is in life, and like that's why, you know, football teaches, and all sports teach so much, you know, life lessons. It's so, you know, just great. And so, I mean, like, it's funny because like you do spring ball and you do fall camp, and like, you know, it's a long process. Like, sometimes you won't eat for like a good 4 to 5 hours because like you have meetings and practice. Like you better bring a granola bar or something, or like go to the snack area and, you know, grab a bagel. But it's like, it's funny, dude. Like you do that, and then like you go into life and you're like I do normal things. It's like, why am I like, I'm sitting on my couch like right now, spring break. I work out, but like it's not like near as what I'm about to be doing, you know? And it's like, dang, like I'm lazy right now. It's like, what am I? I'm not doing anything. Like I'm sitting on the couch watching March Madness. Like I'm like, dude, okay, I
you know, it's crazy.
It's halftime.
I month, though, you're gonna be like, damn, I wish I had.
Yeah, I wish I was on the couch, man. I wish I was on the couch. Exactly, dude. Exactly. Yeah, but I mean, I just got surgery, so I'll be out for a little bit, just kind of doing as much as I can. But you know, yeah. So it's good though.
I know that, guys. If you guys are still tuning in, this is kind of running a little long than normal, but
this has been pretty soon.
My bad.
Yeah, no, I mean it's been good, dude. Great. Like it's been like, I feel like we could probably go for like 3 hours,
dude. I know.
I still have like 5 6 other things we could talk about. But one thing I feel like something maybe you have a meaning for, maybe not. But the number 18. I know.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
All through high school.
Yeah, dude. It's funny. My favorite number is 11. Actually, because my dad was 12, and I was like, I love my dad, but I don't want to be like my dad. I want to be right next to him, you know. Like that's when I was little, and I was like, Sticks is it, you know, 11. And funny, freshman year, you JV, you get moved up to varsity, and so the dude who had 18 was Chris Bohanna, and he played DN at Azusa Pacific. He's really good, but we had an O lineman get hurt when I got moved up, and we had no numbers under 20. So I was like, hey, man, Trent, you're going to be like 21, man. And I was like, that sucks, man. I know I'm not going to play, but God, you know. And but they're like, but one of our O-linemen got hurt. And they're like, hey, Chris, man, you got to play O-line. So they gave him 56. But he was number 18. So they gave him 56. Like, hey, Trent, hey, we got 18 for you. And I was like, all right, sweet. So I rocked it. And the next year came, and they're like, hey, what number do you want? And I was like, on the spot, I was like, 18. Like, no one else wants it. Like, I'll take it. And then I kind of just made it my own, you know, like, I don't know. It kind of like I remember Tate Martell wore it, and I was like, he looks sick. Like I watched him, I was like, he looks sick in 18. Like he kind of made it his own. And I'm like, I want to make it my own too. Like I don't want like a number 2, like where everyone has it. Like I don't want, 11 would have been cool, but like 11's, I don't know. It was like a different number at the time. Still is. I mean, it's a cool number. I love 11. It's still my favorite, but would I wear it? Probably not. Yeah. But 18 just always been, I don't know. It just stuck with me, man. Ever since that first year, and I was like, hey, no one's going to take it. I'll make it my own. So it was pretty cool. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Now, like, hey, what number are you? It's like 18. It's like, okay. Like, you kind of associate stuff with it. So, you know.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Last thing, Oh, yeah. Actually, the form, the quotes.
Yeah.
Quote. I want you to cover that quote a little bit.
Yeah.
Because this can go for everybody.
Yeah. What you focus on. Yeah, man. What you focus on grows. I always that quote. So the old OC, the first year I went to Davis, Coach Plow, he's great OC. He's at Boise State now. So I had a rough first year at Davis. Like I was I go there, and like in my head, I did all that thing in high school, all this stuff in high school. I'm like, I'm this, like, man, it's still in the back of my head. Like I should have been, I was so close, I was so close. And I go to Davis and I'm like, I want to play. Like obviously every first year guy, dude, goes into college and they're like, I'm going to play. Like I'm going to do this. I'm going to be great. And for me, I did the same thing. Like I was like, I want to be this. I want to do this. Like I want to be a backup right now, a freshman. Like I'm a red shirt. Like they told me I'm a red shirt and I was like, dang, I don't want a red shirt. Like I want to play. Like, and it took like, I'm glad it happened. Like was it stupid for me? Of course. Like I'm a freshman, I'm redshirting. We have one of the great, like if not the greatest quarterback in Davis history at the time. Unreal player. And like I wasn't myself, man. I go to Davis, I wasn't myself. Like that first season and after, I was like,
still
it was
growing
really
up.
Weird. Yeah, I was still growing. I was still learning, and it took me a like longer to understand that. And like one time, like our OC brought us in. He was like, hey. It was like individual meetings, and he always said it, but he just said it this time to me. Like when we were talking, I would overthink everyone overthinks. Yeah. And I was just overthinking like anything I did, man. I'd throw a ball like, oh my God, like he saw that. Oh my God, this. And so it took him, he just said, hey, what you focus on grows. Like Jim Soker, the famous coach from Davis, great, one of the greatest coaches of all time. He said, he always told me that. He's like, what you focus on grows. And my oldest, he probably doesn't know that. I stick with that like forever, but I do, man. Like awesome. What you focus on grows. Like, hey, if it's negative, it's going to grow, man. It's going to flourish. Like that negativity is going to flourish in your mind. Hey, you threw a pick and you just think about that pick. It's going to flourish the whole time. Like all you're going to think about is that negative. Like, oh, what did they think? Oh, what did the stands think? What do the coach think? What do my teammates think? Right. When in reality, dude, hey, you threw a pick, man. Hey, move on. Like, hey, it sucked, man. Yeah, you're right. Don't do it again. Yep. It's like, and then like focusing on positive things. Like I throw a pick, like, hey, okay, don't do it again. I go there and like, hey, you have a good conversation with your teammate. Like, hey, hey, you're going to get it next time. Like, yeah, you're right. I will get it next time. I know what I messed up on. I know the read. I know this. Or you drop a ball. Like, hey, drop a ball. Okay. I'm like, I know what I did wrong. I know this. You're gonna like, it's picking and choosing what you want to think on, what you think about, and it's going to grow. Like, hey, if you keep doing negative things, like that's going to grow. Like it's just it's a common thing. It's a mental game. And the mentality is so big in college and everything in life. Like, your mentality is so big and everything. And I feel like I didn't understand that freshman year. And it took that freshman year to like really, kick me in the nuts. Like, hey, it took that, like going to COVID. I gained like 10 to 15 pounds, like 210, 5'10", 210. Like I was strong. Don't get me wrong. I was like a bulk season, you know what I mean? But like, it's like, dude, you can't be like, I was like super in my head, super depressed, like super like, man, what am I going to do? What am I doing this? And it took that COVID year, man, to like go home. Like, cause we have to, you go home and like, obviously like it's your first time away from home. And I mean, like mentally, I wasn't ready. And which is, I was super immature, like freshman year. Exactly. Like I won't go back to go back home. I just like, was like, this isn't like, I was told myself like, this isn't like, I'm not letting this happen. Like, I'm not letting my story die. Like, I'm not letting myself, fall into this trap. Like, no matter what happens, I'm gonna win. So it kind of like, dude, it was a blessing and it was a blessing in disguise, really. Like that negativity, all that stuff. And I come back here, dude. I cut to like 185. I get my body right. I start doing everything. I go to the coaches. I'm like, hey, I was like, hey, I want to play ball. Like whatever you guys think. They're like, hey, well, we think you can play everything. And I was like, I'm doing it. Like, dude, I want to win games. I love winning games. I love ball. Like, I want to do it. Whatever you guys think is right for me, I'm down for it. That's awesome, like, man. Yeah. And they're like, hey, well, this is what we think. And I'm like, let's do it. So then that's kind of where this role kind of came in place. And like, I love loyalty, man. Like I'm a huge loyal person. I love just like, hey, what the team needs. Like if that's what it is to win games, dude, I'm going to do it. Like, hey, you need me to return punts? I'm going to return punts. You need me to, catch a bubble on the side? Like I'm going to do it. Like, hey, I love the team. That's just what I see about it. And that's just how, that quote really helped me a lot. Cause like coming back here, I went to Crothers every day. And then I got a job with me, Ethan, and then Noah. We would go and work at JR Sports. Shout out JR. And we'd work there, dude, until like 8-hour shifts. And then right after the 8-hour shift left, we'd go and lift at like 1 a.m. in DIB and just pump it out and just work for like 2 hours, get home at 3 a.m., do it all again. It was like, and we all started eating right. We all started eating, chicken, broccoli, right? The whole 9 yards. That's what really my health kick kind of like strived. And that's kind of just like I got, done with the COVID thing. We got back and like, hey, we might have a season. We got sent back home again. I did the same thing, got back into it. And I came back leaner and I was like 185 and way leaner, and I was doing everything. And, that COVID season happened. I was, went on ESPN for like the top 10 and I was like, damn, I could thrive. Yeah. So it was like that recognition, like, okay, I could thrive. I could do this. And then, last year happened, I got like second team Big Sky and all Big Sky. And then I kind of like flourished in the role, and
that's awesome.
Now I'm here. So yeah, it feels good, man.
Yeah, that's shit. That's good
what
shit.
What you focus on grows, man.
Exactly.
I love that because it's so simple. It's so simple, but it's powerful at the same time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But for me, I can't wait till you get that one opportunity after you get all healthy right here.
Yeah,
and
dude.
going
Yeah, almost
fully
back.
100%.
Almost back. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because once you're back, dude, I mean, I feel like it's.
Yeah, dude.
You're gonna go off and just do your thing, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
Your mindset and everything's
awesome.
in the right place.
Thank you,
bro.
man. Yeah,
you're a
thank
baller,
you.
bro.
I appreciate
Sick.
that.
So, you got anything else for anybody?
Dude, yeah, man. Hey, stay in school.
That's important, guys. Seriously. Yeah,
get your mental right. Get your mental right. Yeah.
No,
absolutely.
I appreciate you, man, because I feel like we could have probably gone on
dude,
for 3 hours.
I can't wait to get you on again.
Yeah, dude. We'll have to do it again, man.
Yeah,
me and
you're
you
gonna have to. All of us.
Oh, dude, me and you will sit here for hours.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're gonna have to, bro.
Exactly.
Seriously,
Yeah.
not.
I'm gonna take a little time out.
Two part.
We weren't able to talk much about E because we got to wrap this up. But shout out Big E, bro.
Big E, love you.
Yeah,
miss you. Go Oaks.
And there you go.
Shout out Menlo.
Yeah, he's doing his thing at Menlo.
Tearing it up, man. Yeah, hey, hit his first jack, dude. He won't say. Hey, he won't.
Awesome.
He won't say this on here, but shout out Noah Gonzalez, first year. Hits a home run before Ethan. I love E. Hey, E. I love you. Just a little smoke out there. Nah, he's gonna be so pissed. He's gonna be so mad. Love you, E.
He said the homies never let me live that one down.
Yeah, never. Yeah.
That's awesome. That shit's awesome. But Trent, again, I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, guys. It was awesome, dude.
Well, talk soon for sure.
Too.
Yep, for sure. But that was episode 41 for you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in every single week. You guys can find Guys Be Needs podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and of course, if you're a visual learner like myself, then you're going to find the podcast on YouTube. I said podcast a lot right there.
It's all right.
But I got some news before we get up out of here. We're going to be making some new forms of content for you guys that will be going up on YouTube and stuff like that. Not only podcasts will we be dropping every week, but we're going to be dropping some actual YouTube videos. So look out for that. Kind of been hiding that, but we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with that. So look out for that in the near, I'd say a few weeks. But GBD's going to top. Trent Tompkins going to top. And we're out. See you guys next Tuesday.
Yep.
Peace.